Hi everyone, today's video is going to be another side table chat is what I'm calling it. I made a video a few weeks ago called Why I Hate Writing Right Now. I actually filmed it in August and here I am to film another one. This is going to be a series that's pretty stripped back. It's just going to be a chill, chatty, rambly video where I just talk about my feelings on writing. So I was just filming a vlog update for NaNoWriMo, which if you're wondering, is going okay. It's not going as good as I thought it was going to go, but it's not going bad either. It's going better than I thought, but not as good as I projected. Does that make sense? Today's video is not on NaNoWriMo. It's about nostalgia. Is writing ever gonna be fun again? I was doing this vlog update and I started talking about writing and how writing was different for me when I was younger. I started writing when I was very young. I'm still very young. I am 19, but I started writing when I was 12. The first year I was a writer. I was prolific. 13-year-old me was on something, dude. I wrote, I think, something around like 4 or 5 books. It was about 600,000 words. I wrote 3 books basically in the Fostered series, and then I wrote like more books toward the end of the year. It was a whole thing. I loved it. I loved writing when I first started writing. I'm not one of those writers who knew I wanted to be a writer from a very young age. 12 is a very young age, but like I mean earlier than that, like 8, 6. I didn't know I had an interest in writing until I was 12. I had never actually practiced writing before that. So when I got the writing bug, I loved it, guys. My free time, all of it was writing. I spent so much time after school from like 7 p.m. to the rest of the night writing my books. I would write 4,000 words each night, was probably about my average, 3,000 to 4,000 words. I wrote so much. I absolutely adored writing Fostered because that was what I was writing mostly at the time. Even if the plot points were dumb and I was making fun of myself because this is just so dumb and like childish and like doesn't make any sense, and this plot point is irrelevant, and also this is random, and also I just resurrected character. I was having so much fun. I've gotten older. I am trying not to be a pessimistic person about this. I really am trying not to be. So give me your opinions on this. I feel like the older I've gotten, the less fun writing has gotten. It's something I want to change, and that's why I wanted to talk to you guys about it, because I wanted to know if any of you have tips or any ideas, like paradigm shifts for how I can sort of go back to making writing fun again. And I think the number one step probably is to stop thinking about the past and just like enjoy what's happening in the present, because it's a different time now. I'm in my 2nd year of my writing degree. I'm almost done the 1st semester of my 2nd year. Crazy. And so my writing process has severely changed. I write a different genre now. I write a different age category. I write a whole bunch of different things now. And so I think the first step is sort of to address that. I'm older now. I have more experience now. And I think that's the thing that kind of scares me. I have more experience now, and so I think when it comes, experience also might come with pressure, both internal, sometimes external. I don't feel any pressure from you guys because I have a lovely audience. Sometimes I think this pressure is more internal for me since I don't have that really external pressure. I worry that the more that I write, the longer that I write, the less fun I'm going to have, because the better I'm going to want to make it. And what's interesting is moth work started as a means for me to get back to that fun feeling. This book right here is book 3 of Fostered. As you can see, it's a freaking behemoth. It's gigantic. This is the paperback. Can you imagine this in like hardcover? This is huge. I had so much fun writing this book. At one point, I mean, it gave me a really hard time. I almost quit the series. I'm not gonna say that this was easy. No, but this is my favorite book of the Fostered series. Even me as a 19-year-old, I love this book. I haven't reread it since I wrote it, basically, but I remember distinctly how much I enjoyed writing it. I wrote it about 5 years ago. Moth work started as a means to sort of get back to this. So at the time, I was entering high school. I started this book in May of my grade 8 year, and then I would have started high school. High school in Ontario starts in grade 9, or at least where I live in Ontario, it starts in grade 9. And so this book was mostly written in elementary school, and then it was finished up in high school. I was young. There's this feeling I got. I remember this one night I was writing, I can't remember what chapter it was. I think it was this hotel. I think I've talked about this hotel escapade thing in, I think, my live stream. So it's that hotel time in Foster that really reminds me of like the most fun I've ever had writing. Recently, I have come to realize, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or I'm just like being a young person and I'm getting like existential. It could be a combination of both. I have been feeling like I can't touch that funness that I used to attain when I was younger. And it's like, not that writing isn't fun right now. It's just not the same level of fun. I mean, I should take that back because writing has been a bit of a struggle for me. Lately, it's been a lot more fun than it was in the original, like, side table talk video when I was really not feeling feeding habits, but it's not the same level of fun. And I think that can, be attributed to a few factors, which is like childhood. You aren't caring as much. There's kind of this mysticism, this magical feeling to your work and the world that you're creating. Nothing you can do is a horrible mistake that, you can't drive yourself out of without a few creative dashes of like bringing someone back to life or like doing something that is absolutely impossible in a realistic setting because it's most convenient for the plot. And I've been trying to get back to that funness, but I can't also help but feel, I'm not like sad, I'm more nostalgic about it. I was saying in the clip, I think if you started writing when you were younger and you are now older, you might understand what I'm saying. It's not that I don't think writing is fun right now. I think writing still is fun, but writing is different. And I think the difference is what I'm getting nostalgic about, because writing when I was 13 was a magical experience. It was not perfect. I still struggled, but it was magical. I wrote whatever I wanted, and I still try to do that now, but it's different. I'm writing whatever I want, but it's being filtered through age, and so age comes with a little bit more logic, with some restraint. But when I was 13, those muscles weren't as developed or overdeveloped as they may be getting now, because I'm a little bit more cautious now, probably to a fault. And so I've been thinking a lot about having fun in writing and how to get back to that, because I love having fun in writing, but it's never felt the same. And Mothwork was supposed to be my fun project. Mothwork, the beginning 2 chapters were very fun. It reminded me a lot of writing this book, and that feeling is priceless. I would pay so much money to feel the way I did when I was writing this book. It's just something that's so hard to attain because it's an organic feeling. You can't construct it. But then Mothwork started getting tricky, and then I started disliking it. I started getting embarrassed by it because I was having so much fun. I was getting embarrassed by the things I was having fun doing, which is not what the point of having fun is, but I also didn't want to police myself because I feel like that would have made me have even less fun. Feeding Habits, on the other hand, has been even worse than Mothwork in the struggle bus department. We have to remember, Feeding Habits started in a place of struggle for me. I started Feeding Habits because I was so upset about writing, and I didn't know how to write, and so my sister was like, why don't you write more Mothwork because you love that book? And I was like, okay. So it started in a place that was rooted in a lot of emotional distress. It brought me immediate catharsis. And so I think after that point, any struggle that I had with Feeding Habits, immediately my brain was like, this is unfair. This is supposed to be my fun project. This is supposed to be my cathartic project. This is not supposed to be hard. And I think that's the thing with writing. The older I've gotten, the harder it's gotten. And I think that's really interesting because a lot of people say, beginners who are writing, that's when writing is the hardest because you're a beginner. You don't really know as much. I think in a lot of ways, of course, in terms of craft. But I think there's another thing we need to consider, and that is emotional response. Writing is an emotional craft. And the older I've gotten, the harder it's gotten to control my emotions when writing and to control my judgments when writing. And I think that's the problem I've been having with Feeding Habits in general, because I want to have fun with it, but then what I do is I make it my fun project, put pressure on myself to make it my fun project, which is not fun. And then when I don't have fun, I am even sadder than had I just been writing something else. And it's just an interesting thing to balance. Funness and also writing. As you guys know, Feeding Habits is a personal project. It will forever be a personal project. I'm not going to publish that. But it's not as fun as writing book 3. It's been really hard. And I've been feeling really nostalgic for the feeling I would have when I would come back off of the school bus and it was like 4 o'clock because like elementary school ends really late, and I would do my work and then like watch TV and eat dinner, and then I would write. I had so much fun doing it. I would just sit right here. I didn't have a desk. I would just sit right here and I would write. And it was so fun, and I'm feeling very nostalgic for it, and I'm racking my brain trying to figure out how can I recreate that. And then I have to remind myself, Rachel, you can't recreate it, but you can have fun where you are right now. And that's the journey I'm trying to go on. After my huge kind of, I'm gonna be honest, mental breakdown with Feeding Habits, I learned a really valuable lesson about writing, and that life is way too short to spend doing things you don't love. My sister gave me some beautiful advice that I'm gonna end off this video with. When Feeding Habits wasn't working for me, I was like, Sarah, you gotta understand, like, I know exactly what to do, like, this makes sense, and I know what needs to happen. And then she stopped me, and she's like, and she said, it's not about what works, Rachel, it's about what makes you happy. And it was the paradigm switch I needed. When she said that, I realized I was working so hard to try to do what worked in the book, what I knew needed to happen, what I knew was what worked, what I knew would progress the plot, and I wasn't doing what made me happy. And I think those things can coexist, but sometimes they can separate. Sometimes they can veer off on the path like oil and water, and you don't know when that happened, but the separation occurred, and now what works is no longer making you happy. I've learned after almost quitting on this series, at the worst point I've ever been in this series, that it is not worth it to give up on what you love, to give up on fun, to give up on the happiness writing brings you, to do what works. And I know that this was a giant hot mess ramble. My sister's so wise, and I'm so grateful for that advice that she gave me, because it still touches me, and in these moments I'm feeling humbled by it. When I'm stressed about the fact that I'm not having fun with my writing like I did when I was 13, I'm being humbled by remembering what Sarah told me. Writing is not a finite thing. It is not a means to an end. It is not over. Just because this era is over doesn't mean I can't have that same level of fun. And I think I've spent so long, and even now, trying to seek the fun I had when writing this book that I'm not seeking the fun I can have right now. And this is getting quite lofty and existential, but I hope that makes sense. You guys let me know what you guys are doing and your thoughts on funness and writing. And is anybody getting super nostalgic about writing when you were younger? I think there's something in being new at something that is so fun. Being inexperienced is probably the most fun you're ever going to have with something. It's like a honeymoon period, basically. I'm not trying to tell you, especially to my younger viewers, I don't want you guys to watch this and be like, well, the older I get, the less fun I'm going to have. I am not trying to say that. I wish I could sit here and also tell you I have a solution on how I can make writing just as fun as it was when I was 13, but I'm struggling with that, and that's why I'm making this video, just to be kind of honest about that. I am not having as much fun as I want. I don't open my document and get excited about writing. I don't ever open my, like in the last few months, I haven't looked at Feeding Habits and been like, yeah, that's going to be fun to write. I've dreaded it every single time I've opened the document. I've felt intense anxiety every single time I've opened it. And that's something I don't talk about as much on here because I want this to be a positive space, safe space for you guys. But that's honestly what I go through when I write. I want there to be a light at the end of the tunnel. And that's what I want to tell you guys, that writing is not finite, and that I know right now I don't know the answer. I wish I could tell you how I could increase my enjoyment with my writing. I don't know. But those are just some genuine thoughts on what it's like to write right now, and that's gonna be it for this video. That's my thoughts on writing and funness, and is writing ever gonna be fun again? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to start a conversation, but I will see you in the next one. Bye!